I just got done watching.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic.
After a group of astronauts go into space and come back forever changed with powers, they decide to use those powers to protect the city, but one day a threat comes threatening to destroy the entire world. This is starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn, and Julia Gardner. So, without further ado, let's get to the review. Please let me know, did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Did you love it? Please let me know what you thought of Fantastic Four, The First Steps, in the comments. Also, all the reviews I do are spoilers, so if you're not okay with spoilers, go watch the movie, then come back and watch this video. Also, I have a lot of content on my channel. Check those out once this video is done, and we're kicking off things with the positives. Okay. Now, sorry about that noise. My chair is creaking. I need to get a new one. It happens like every video. But anyway, before we get started talking about the positives, I just want to give you guys my quick history on Fantastic Four. And yeah, so I have never read the comics. I'm not a huge comic reader, not a huge book reader either. I'm not a huge reader at all. So yes, I have not read the comics for Fantastic Four, and I have not seen the movies for Fantastic Four. The reason why I haven't seen the movies is because I heard they're terrible. There's just movies out there where I just don't want to watch them because I hear they're so bad, and Fantastic Four movies were some of them. I was maybe thinking about watching them, and then I looked at the reviews for them. They're like saying it's terrible and stuff, so I was like, yeah, I'm not watching this. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm not going to be ever checking out the Fantastic Four movies, is because I hear all three of them are terrible. So yeah, that's basically my history with all that. Now, I know what the characters are, alright? I know each individual member of the family. I know their powers. I know some of that stuff. I know some of the villains, all that stuff. That's really all I know, though. There's probably a lot of stuff out there that I don't know, but I know the basics, what you need to know. So, yeah. I didn't go in this film not knowing anything. I went into this film knowing who the characters are, all that stuff. And, yeah. Now let's get talking about the positives. So my first positive for the film is the acting. So we got a great cast here. We got Pedro Pascal, who I think is a great actor. I think he's great in The Last of Us as Joel. He's great in The Mandalorian show. He's great in, he was a lot of fun in Gladiator 2. He's just great in so many things. And yeah, I feel like he's being in a lot of more stuff lately. He was also in a romance movie like a month ago or something. But anyway, he's been in a lot of stuff, and Pedro Pascal is just a great actor. So I was really looking forward to him being Reed Richards, and I thought he nailed Reed Richards. Coming from a guy who hasn't seen the movies or anything, I wouldn't listen to me. But still, I think he nailed it as this like nerdy, really smart dude. Where half the time I didn't even know what he was talking about, but still I was on board. So I think he nailed that nerdy side of him, and he nailed the acting there. Where there's one scene at the end where we think that Sue Storm is dead. So when he's like crying, freaking out, all that stuff because his wife is assumed dead. She's not. But he's freaking out, all that stuff. And I thought his acting there was great. He had a good reaction to that. So I thought Pedro Pascal was great. And here is Reed Richards, or Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby, it was great to see her in here. Obviously, she's basically best known for the Mission Impossible films. And she's a lot of fun in there as the White Widow. But she was great in here as Sue Storm. She was a lot of fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed her. Ebon Moss, I thought he was great as the Thing. He was probably the most fun character out of the group. Really enjoyed him. Joseph Quinn, really excited to see him since he has a great filmography so far. Like, he's really getting in there. Like, he, obviously, Eddie Stranger Things, great in there. I said Eddie as Stranger Things. I meant Eddie in Stranger Things. He's great. He was great in Gladiator 2, A Quiet Place Day 1, and now here. So this guy is really cooking on with the big movies. So I enjoyed him in here as Johnny Storm. Julie Gardner, really enjoyed her in here as Silver Surfer. And I find it hilarious that Johnny was hitting on Silver Surfer. Just found that absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, so the acting, great stuff. Visually, the film looks incredible. It looks mesmerizing, basically. Like, one of the best looking Marvel films for sure. Because you're gonna need a lot of CGI for this film with like the powers and stuff. Reed Richards' stretchy power, the invisibility, the fire, and of course the Thing. You gotta obviously use CGI. So the Thing looks incredible, and the powers look incredible, and yeah, visually looks great. There's this like space scene that's like 30 minutes long. That scene visually looked incredible. There's no off moments there. But yeah, there is off moments with the green screen and CGI here and there, but they're just little. But visually, still, the film looks incredible. It's not like Black Widow. And yeah, and I love this, like, the look of the city, where it's like this futuristic 1960s vibe here, because yes, the film is taking place in the 1960s, but the film, the city, or whatever, the world there, looks newer than ours, but it's taking place way older in 1960s. So I just love it. I love the vibe here. I just love what the city looks like. Really enjoyed that. The action in this film, I thought that was pretty awesome. There's this whole space sequence where they go to negotiate with Galactus, and they go there, and then obviously he says you have to give the baby in trade, which we'll talk about a little bit in the negatives. And then obviously they say no, and then they're escaping. Silver Surfer's chasing them. Thought that was just a great chase sequence, and then it leads into the baby, Sue having the baby. But anyway, I just love that chase action sequence in space, and of course the fight at the end with Galactus. Thought that was awesome. So there's only really 2 big action sequences. That's alright though. But yeah. Really enjoyed those 2 action sequences. Thought they were great. Galactus, he looks incredible. He looks like he's there. Loved what he looked like. Thought he was awesome. I liked how they're just teasing like his foot or like the side of him. In the trailers, they didn't actually show him fully. Here, obviously, they do. But like, I just love that they didn't like tease him fully in the trailers. So yeah. And yeah, so the film visually looks incredible, acting's great, action was pretty awesome. And yeah, I just love these characters, and I can't wait to see what happens with them in Avengers Doomsday, because I'm pretty sure Reed Richards is leading the Avengers, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm surprised why is Sam Wilson not doing that, but whatever. Thought that was really cool. Now let's talk about the post-credits scene, the ending of the film. So yes, the movie ends with Galactus being thrown into a portal. We get this kind of emotional scene with Silver Surfer, where because she lived on the world and Galactus threatened to destroy it, so then she offered to go there so that her world doesn't get destroyed. There's an emotional moment there where like Johnny's showing her like how many planets she was just fine with getting exploded, killed, whatever, eaten. So there's an emotional moment there. And then later, when Galactus is like falling to this portal, then he comes back. Then the Silver Surfer sacrifices her life. Johnny's about to, pushes him out of the way, and she uses her entire strength to go into the portal and sacrifice her life. I don't know if they're still alive or not, because it looked like it was just a portal. So I don't know. I don't think that they're dead at all. I think they're just lost in space. So yeah. But anyway, they defeat Galactus. Everything's fine. It ends, and then it goes 4 years later. Because yes, Franklin. He's there. He was only like 1 month old or whatever. Yeah, it goes 4 years later. So 4 years later, he is about like 4, maybe like 3.5 or 4. Sorry, voice crack. But anyway, he's there, and his mom is reading him a book, and then Sue Storm, obviously, and then she goes to grab a different book, his favorite apparently. And then when she comes back, she sees Doctor Doom. We do not see his full face, Robert Downey Jr. We don't see him there. We just see like the back of him with his mask off and stuff, and like holding the baby, and she's kind of shocked or whatever, and then it just ends. So that was a great post-credit scene. I enjoyed the Thunderbolts one better, but still, thought this was a really good post-credit scene, setting up Avengers Doomsday. Obviously, Spider-Man Brand New Day is now the next one since Avengers Doomsday was delayed, but still, I thought this was a great post-credit scene. Really enjoyed it, even though it's like a minute long or whatever, but still. Thought it great setup, and I'm very curious how they're going to lead into this because, like I said, in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, we see the rocket coming down from their base or whatever. We see the Fantastic Four rocket coming down. So I thought at the end of this film that they would leave as well. They would leave the Earth and come down, but no, they didn't do that. So I'm very curious, why are they going to that Earth? They might be going there because Doctor Doom kidnapped Franklin, so the Fantastic Four are going to get help. Or Doctor Doom came onto that planet, so they're going to find him. Or again, they might need help, so they're going to go talk to like the new Avengers or whatever. I don't know. But still, that's basically like how I think it's going to happen. Maybe it's not the Fantastic Four even in there. Maybe it's Doctor Doom in there. Like, we don't know anything. But yeah, I think that this could be a great potential like plot here. I don't want them to do the kidnapping one. They might though. Like, that's such a basic plot. Like, why is Marvel doing that? Oh yeah, that's how we're gonna get the Fantastic Four there. Like, I don't know. I find that to be very basic. I really hope that's not like the main thing why Fantastic Four is there, just because he kidnapped a baby. Obviously it's high stakes for the baby. We don't want the kid to die. That's way too harsh. But still, like, okay, that's a kidnapping plot. Low budget action movies do that. Do we have to do that in a Marvel movie? I don't know. But anyway, that's post credit scene. So that's all my positives. Let's head to the negatives. Now, I don't have too many negatives for the film, but I do have a couple I would like to talk about. First one being is basically the motive of Galactus. So I guess Silver Surfer just picks planets that he eats and stuff, and destroys. And she picks that planet and stuff, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to explain the whole thing. But they go up to Galactus to negotiate the Fantastic Four. They go up to Galactus, to negotiate, and, like, persuade him not to destroy their planet. And then he says, the only way I won't do it is if you give us your child. Which, like, that's so random. Like, I hate when movies do that, or, like, they find a way. They just find a random way for, like, the motive of the villain. And he just, out of nowhere, says, yeah, give me your child, and you can be on your way. Your planet will survive. Like, I found that to be super random and kind of basic. So I'm not a fan of that. I don't know why they did that. But anyway, I guess Franklin potentially is going to become this very powerful dude. And he's only 1 month old, so, like, give him some time. But I guess he was worried he's going to get defeated or something. So he said, oh, give me your child and you'll be on your way. And of course they say no. And then once they get back to Earth, everyone yells at them, freaks out at them, and starts hating on them just because they won't give him your child. They cannot be talking. The Fantastic Four protect them. If they start protecting them, they will die. Their children will die, the citizens. So, like, you can't get mad at the protectors of the world for just saying no to giving a big bad villain their child, because it's their child. They protect yours. Would you like the same? Would you like for them to give your childs to Galactus? Like, I don't know. I just found that to be really stupid, to be honest. Also, I found the final act, like the final battle, to be pretty rushed. The final, 25 minutes, Galactus actually comes to Earth. And he gets there, blah, 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 going for the baby. He gets it. Little action sequence there, battling. They take the baby back. He falls into the trap. Falling through the portal. Then Silver Surfer sacrifices her life to go in there. I don't know if they're dead or not, because this portal, what did it lead into? Lava. It didn't look like it. I think they're just lost in space, like I said before. But anyway, I just found that final act, the final battle, to be pretty rushed. So I wasn't a fan of that. I think the movie should have been 2 hours. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes. Should have been 2 hours, but fine, that's all right. And now my final problem with the film, kind of an interesting one. So, like I said, the post-credit scene, it doesn't really connect into what Thunderbolts' post-credit scene was, and I like the Thunderbolts one better. It didn't really connect to that where they leave for Earth and blah, blah, blah. I already told you, like, potential plots of why they go to Earth. Maybe Franklin was kidnapped, or maybe that's not them, it's Dr. Doom in that rocket ship or somebody else, or I don't know. Just, there's a lot of reasons, all right? And, again, we don't know what's going to happen there. What I would have liked is that they lose, all right? Galactus actually ends up eating their planet, and they lose, and they leave. And they're very disappointed, sad, and just feel like they just ruined, they did. They lost a lot of lives and stuff, which doesn't do that, but I wish it did, and then that's why they go to Earth. They need, and then now they're actually chasing off after Franklin or whatever. I just would have liked to see them lose. I don't want to see, a bunch of people die. You guys are probably thinking I'm weird for saying that. No, I just want to see them fail. Superheroes need to fail, alright? What I don't like about this movie is it plays it super safe. Galactus is supposed to be this huge threat. He doesn't even look threatening. He's in this one city looking for this one baby. That's it. That is it. Alright, so I would have liked it if they failed, the planet gets destroyed, and they're the only ones who make it out alive. And yeah, I would have liked to see that. I thought that would be a fantastic ending. But yeah. I would have loved to see that ending. But no, the film plays it safe. Everybody lives happily ever after. They don't even kill off Sue Storm. I wasn't hoping they would, because Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are my two favorite characters of the Fantastic Four. So I wouldn't like to see her die, but I don't know, it was pretty predictable. The film is actually very predictable. Nobody dies, plays it safe. I knew Sue Storm was not going to die. I knew they would not do that. Of course, she survived, and yeah. I'm not saying I wanted her to die, no, but they took the risk of her pretending she's dead. We get a good reaction out of Pedro Pascal, and then it turns out, no, I'm still alive. I just found that to be very predictable, and all movies do it, so yeah. Overall, Fantastic Four, very predictable movie, all that stuff, but it still is a fresh MCU film. I like it, I think it's a really good film. It's just not one of the best by far, no. Alright, so that's all my negatives. Let's head to the ratings. Alright, so I'm going to give Fantastic Four: The First Steps a 7 out of 10. I thought this was just a really good and solid addition to the MCU, and it just felt so fresh, and we don't really get MCU films like this where you don't have to do homework and stuff. And I thought the characters and the acting was great. We got some good action in it, and overall, I just love this world that it's set up. But there were some problems with it, like the ending, how it played it safe, and all that stuff. But overall, I found this to be a really solid film and just a movie that you'll have a good time with. So that's why I'm giving Fantastic Four: The First Steps a 7 out of 10. I'll see you in the next one.
Say that again?